guys, it's Shakir Imani here. I'm back for another video. Today I wanted to share with you guys something a little different. I have used a menstrual cup for the very first time recently, and I wanted to share with you guys how that experience went. I had been contemplating using a menstrual cup for like a year now, probably longer than a year, and I've been doing some serious research for the last like 6 months or so, and I finally took the plunge and bought one and used it. And I just feel like if I had someone to share like their exact experience with me, I might have bought it a little sooner than I did. So I just wanted to share with you guys like day by day what my experience was like using it, to help you guys out if you are in the research phase as well. So if you are, keep on watching. All right guys, so like I said, I had been researching a menstrual cup for a really long time because, especially after having my son, my period just became so heavy, and it was to the point, like, not to gross y'all out, but it was to the point where I could use a Super Plus tampon and it would be full and I would be leaking after like 2 hours. Wanted something that in the long run would save me money, would be more environmentally friendly, and would feel more like hassle-free. So started looking up menstrual cups. So the one that I used was from the Honey Pot company, and this is the little baggie that it comes in. And I decided to go with the Honey Pot mainly because they are Black owned, and because a lot of the stuff that's been going on with them in the media, we're not going to talk about that here, but I really wanted to support this company and purchase from them. So this is the menstrual cup. When you take it out, it's a little fuzzy because I've had it in this little baggie for a couple of days now, but this is what it looks like. I got size 2, which is the largest size that they have. You can decide what size you need based off like just who you are, your period, whether or not you've had kids. They say that if you've had a vaginal birth, then size 2 might be the best option, which is the main reason why I got it, and then also just to hold a heavier flow. So this is what it looks like. This is how big it is, the inside. And then it has like these little holes. I don't know if you guys can see the holes, but they have like little holes which is supposed to help with like the suctioning or something like that around it. And then this is the stem. I know a lot of people were having issues with this stem. I guess it was like too long or it like hurt them or something. I actually didn't have any issues with the stem. I've heard that some people just cut it a little bit and it helps them. I believe I spent about $18 on this, which is one of the cheapest options that I found actually. I've seen menstrual cups cost as much as like $40 or $50, and even that will save you in the long run from having to buy pads and tampons within like a year or so. So this is definitely one of the cheapest options that I found, and I wrote down like everything in my notes like every single day, so I can tell you guys exactly what happened every day. The very first day I got it, I was actually traveling to Baltimore, and we were at a rest stop, and I was really nervous to put it in the rest stop because I just felt like I needed to take my time, which I didn't have at the rest stop. But I was like, you know what? We gon' see how this works, okay? This is definitely a trial run to see how this would work as far as me putting it in at some random like rest stop. You know, I don't really have the comfort of my own bathroom, and we're gonna see how we do. The way I put it in the very first time was the U-fold, I think it's called, where you pretty much fold it in half like that, and then you fold it again in half like that, so it looks like the letter U. And then I just went on ahead and inserted it up, and it took me a little bit of time. Like I would say it took me like a good like 3 to 5 minutes just to like get it what I thought was right. I had no idea if it was in there the right way, but I was like, well, I'll find out later on if it's in the right way. So that day, I would say I took it out like maybe 12 hours later, but during those 12 hours, I had absolutely no leaks. Like when I would wipe after using the bathroom, there would be nothing on the tissue paper. It wasn't uncomfortable at all. And I'm lying, I just looked back down at my notes. I actually took it out 8 hours later, and when I did take it out, It was a little tricky taking it out because the suction is like very strong on this thing, so I didn't know how to take it out. I didn't have like my papers or anything with me at the time. Again, I wasn't home, so I literally just like pulled it out, and it was very tricky, but there was no spillage or anything like that. That's what I was nervous about as well, but it's very easy to, you know, like keep hold onto when you're taking it out. I had very little blood in it compared to the cup size. I had maybe like this much was filled, and that's after 8 hours. After 8 hours on my first day of my cycle, girl, it is that's all I'm gonna say. That's what it is. So the fact that amount was only about this much in here really said a lot about how much a tampon can hold versus the cup. So when I did go to put it back in, I definitely was putting it in wrong because it was like really hard to urinate after that. Like, I think I had it pushed against my bladder, and or like it was like, I don't know, pushed against it to where it was like squeezing something, because when I would try to use the bathroom, like nothing was coming out, but I had a full bladder. And then also I didn't have leaking like on my underwear, but I had like, if I would wipe, I'd have a little bit on the tissue paper, so it was clearly not in the right way. So it did take me a little bit of practice later that night of how to put it in, and I had to like readjust a few times, and I definitely learned that it has to be in just right for you to be able to use the bathroom comfortably and not have any leakage. So the second day of using my menstrual cup, I woke up, I didn't have any leaks overnight, which again is very good for me because on my cycle I leak almost every single night. Again, I didn't have a lot in the cup compared to the cup size. I would say again, it was like here when I took it out in the morning. I was really excited that day. I put it in just right. I had no leaking. I had no problems going to the bathroom, nothing. Like, I was good, which is very helpful because when I'm not home at all, I was at someone else's house, like I don't want to have to deal with, you know, the back and forth and the leaking and tampons and all this other stuff. So loved it. I took it out later that night, about 12 hours later or so, when I finally came back home, and I had again no leaking that day, and I would say it was about halfway full by then. So it was like here. Again, I have a very heavy period. I honestly am not even sure what is normal for what should go into the cup, but again, I know that second day for me, I would have been starting to leak, especially, first of all, I can't even keep anything for 12 hours, and you're not supposed to keep a tampon in for 12 hours, but even like a good 2 to 4 hours with a tampon would have been too much for me for the second day. So the fact that it was like up to here, which you can actually see they have like the measurements on the inside, it was about 10 milliliters worth. I was good for 12 hours. So it doesn't look like it's a lot when it's inside the cup, like it's very little, but then when I poured it out, it was a ton, like a ton. Alright, so day 3, I had put it in the night before. It was the same. I did the U shape again. I had no leaks overnight, and mind you, I overslept. I don't remember the exact time I put it in the night before, but I do know that I took it out more than 12 hours later, which guys, I'm not advising you to do just because you might not get leaks. I personally just overslept, and it was maybe like 13 hours later. When I did try to insert it the third day, the U shape, it was so uncomfortable, and it just kept feeling like it wasn't going in right. So I tried another fold, which is like, I don't know what it's called. It's like some pinch or something, where pretty much you're just taking one side and you're pinching it like that to kind of make it look like a rose. And they say that this is a great way, especially if you're used to tampons, like it goes in just like a tampon, and you just insert it, and then as it's in, you just try to feel for that pop. You can like twist it to get the pop to happen, and then let it be. So that's how I was inserting it on day 3. That entire day, day 3 is my worst day of my cycle. It kept feeling like I was leaking, and I kept going to the bathroom to check. Thankfully, you know, I'm home, so it was fine. I kept going to the bathroom to check, and I was not leaking, but it kept feeling like I was. One thing that you should be mindful of is you are going to feel your period coming down, was that feeling that I was leaking even though I wasn't. So about 8 hours later, I checked again, and I did have a little bit of leaking, like a tiny bit on my actual underwear. So I took it out, and when I tell you guys, it was like up to here, which is over 25 milliliters. Again, I have a very heavy cycle, and my third day is always really bad. That's why. So because it was over the 25 milliliter mark, it was getting close to where the little suction holes were. So I figured that it was kind of spilling out from the suction holes and coming down, which is the issue that I was having. So if you know your cycle, I know now that like my second and third day, I cannot wait up to 8 hours or even 12 hours. I may have to take this out like every 6 hours or so before it overflows. And then the last day of my period, which was day 4, was the worst day I had as far as figuring this out, which is very odd considering I thought I was a pro after my very first time using it. I woke up to a little bit of leaking, but it wasn't heavy, so I didn't figure anything. I kept using the pinch holds to put it in, and I figured I was fine. But what I learned after having to research was it wasn't in all, like it wasn't in correctly, I'm guessing, with the pinch hold. I think I was just getting too used to the pinch hold. The cup holds, or well, the U hold, the C hold, whatever you want to call it, works a lot better for me as far as making sure it pops out properly once it comes in. I also learned you're gonna get to know yourself really good, a lot more than you ever thought you knew yourself, to make sure that this goes in right. I learned that the way I was inserting it off, like I guess my uterus, like if my uterus is here, I was inserting it like this, you know what I mean? So pretty much it wasn't catching anything, because throughout the day I kept having so much leakage, and then there would be like nothing in the cup. So if that happens, do some research to figure out like what might be going on with your body. But I learned that the way my uterus sits, I was pretty much pushing it past it, so it wasn't catching anything. So the fact that I ended my period that way was a little nerve-wracking, because I'm over here like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? So since then, I have been doing a lot of research on just how to insert, and I've also just been getting to know myself a lot better so that I know exactly where my uterus sits and how I should place it. I also learned that I have to figure out a way to do the U fold or the C fold, whatever you want to call it, because that seems to be the best fold for me and my lady part. So that way, hopefully I won't make the same mistake that I did on my very last day, which is just crazy. Cleaning it is extremely easy if you are like in your own bathroom or in a bathroom where there's a sink already. Pretty much you just dump it, you wash it really well with soap that you would feel comfortable cleaning yourself with, soap and water, and you make sure that there is no period left, any old period left, before reinserting it again. And then after my period, the sanitation process is super simple. You can just put it on the stove, like in a pot with boiling water, and let it boil for a little bit, and then take it out. And that's pretty much how you sanitize it. And yeah, besides the last day that I was just having a lot of issues, I absolutely love this thing. And I personally love the fact that it is causing me to really learn myself a lot more. Like, you think you know until you have to get real up close and personal, you know? And I definitely am learning about like where certain parts of my body, like where it's sitting. And if you are kind of squeamish and you're just not ready for that kind of stuff yet, like if you're a little younger and you're just not ready for that, then I would just recommend waiting a while until you are comfortable enough to use this. But as far as comfort, as far as convenience, as far as price point is concerned, I would strongly recommend a menstrual cup from the Honey Pot. It's really my new best friend. I love the fact that I really don't need anything else. Like, the only thing I am going to get are a few panty liners from this company, just in case I have that issue again with my next period. You know, I just want to make sure that I'm cleared until I figure out exactly how I need to position this inside my lady parts. I'm sorry if this video was kind of long. I really just wanted to give you guys as much detail as I could to help whoever is looking into purchasing their first menstrual cup. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to leave it in the comments below, or you can DM me on my Instagram. Please, you know, I want to help you guys out and give you guys as much feedback as I can to help you make your decision. If you have used a menstrual cup before, what was your experience like? And if you've used this personal menstrual cup, this from the Honey Pot, let me know how you enjoyed it as well. Other than that, I will see you guys for the next video. Bye!